Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Okay, next news item. Trump is now screwing over Republicans in need of disaster relief.
So it's not just Democrats in Maine that we're fucking over today.
No, in this one it's Arkansas governor. I refuse to call that Arkansas. That's an S. It doesn't make a W sound. It makes a S sound.
No, that is 100% Arkansas.
Arkansas. I thought Arkansas and Arkansas were two different states until I was in high school.
You have Kansas and Arkansas.
Now, to be
American
fair,
explain.
To be fair, it was a Canadian high school, so we weren't exactly learning all the states and their capitals and everything. We were focusing on the provinces and territories and their capitals. So it's not like it'd be like expecting an American to know like all of the provinces of Canada. Most of them don't. Clueless Expert says, it's our Kansas, comrade. But yeah, no, I thought Arkansas and Arkansas were two different states, and it never occurred to me that I had never seen Arkansas written down. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who, because I listened to all the Puzzle in a Thunderstorm podcasts, I have in my head as Heath doing his deep voice, being like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" Because that's funny. So she's begging President Donald Trump to reconsider the Federal Emergency Management Agency's denial of an emergency disaster declaration to aid in recovery from a series of destructive tornadoes and storms that ravaged the red state in March. Sanders is a former White House press secretary. I mean, what Republican isn't a former White House press secretary? They go through those things so fast. Like Carolyn Leavitt must have like a record for being the longest running one.
It's because she's an attractive blonde woman in the Trump presidency. She looks like a Fox News wannabe host, and that gets her rep, I guess.
Wait. He picked someone for a position in his government that wasn't previously a Fox News host? That seemed to be a qualification that he was looking for.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but so yeah, it's unsurprising that states are already struggling to get disaster recovery aid under a second Trump administration. In January, President Trump floated eliminating the agency entirely. Kristi Noem, noted puppy killer, promised to eliminate FEMA on the heels of a series of so-called Department of Government efficiency-fueled layoffs at the agency. It was like, no, don't eliminate the agency. It actually does good stuff. Actually, just fund it. Just fund it, man. Like, tornadoes don't care who you voted for.
No, it's fine. Let the people suffer, right?
Hot take. People who voted for Trump don't deserve to have their homes destroyed by a tornado.
You know,
I would like them to have a safe place to live.
It's going to be really hard to sell me on that one.
I mean,
I'm kidding. You don't have to sell me on that one. People who like living should be allowed to live.
I definitely care more about the trans people that they are actively oppressing. I feel like making sure they have a safe, comfortable place to live is a bit more pressing an issue than making sure Trump voters have a safe, warm place to live. But that doesn't mean I am rooting for the tornado to rip up their house.
Yeah.
And if a tornado does rip up their house, it doesn't matter what your politics are. I feel like housing is a human right.
I mean, it should be.
Yeah, Dark Falcon says, is that a hot take? That seems like it should be normal. In this day and age, it is so weird to me that, like, everybody seems to get mad at the Democrats, but the Democrats are objectively the party that is most likely to do the most good for the most number of people. Like, yeah, they're not perfect. There's a lot of room for improvement there. A lot of them are a bunch of shitbags who are just in Congress to make as much money as possible and have a cushy job where they just have to show up a few days to vote on a couple things. I get it. That sucks. But, like, you don't see Democrats out there being like, haha, fuck you, that state voted red, so I'm not gonna send disaster relief there when the tornado hits.
Which, by contrast, is something we have seen Republicans do.
Yeah.
Republican lawmakers specifically.
And the fucking president of the United States. What about Greg's tent church? Well, nobody lives in the tent church, so fuck it. Fuck it. Let it get ripped up. I think.
Also,
Hey, somebody just bought a hard drive, and apparently I had that merch alert really loud.
that was physically painful on my ears.
I will mute that. And it said it was fully funded, so that means. Oh, no, I muted the wrong one. Throne alerts. Merch alert. I have a merch alert? Oh, that's right. Stream Elements, or no, Stream Elements has merch. And I did set it up, but nobody's bought a single thing from it because I never mentioned it, and I don't actually care. It was just like, it's there. I'll do it. But yeah, Greg's tent church can go to hell because nobody lives in it.
He said, "Look up Cat Abu. The youths are trying to push the old Dem guard out." Oh,
Yep.
So it's not just there. David Hogg has been trying to do that because he's simultaneously in a position of leadership in the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
while also
he gets up there and be like, "Hey, this guy, the chair of the DNC, he needs to step down. He hasn't won an election since before I was born."
People got so mad at him. I'm just like, no, but he's objectively right.
Spoonbill of Adam says, "To be fair, I'd love to have one of those jobs where I'd just have to show up a few times a month and still afford to live. Yet, wouldn't we all love to have a cushy job where you get paid, like, what's the congressional salary? $175,000 a year?
$175,000 a year,
something like that.
I believe.
It's somewhere around there. Yeah. So, like, to get paid $175,000 a year for a job that, like, if you don't show up, there are zero consequences. Yeah, that would be totally awesome. But you know what? Here's the thing, like, if we just made housing a human right that everybody got, whether they could afford it or not, like, I'm not against people being able to afford a nice house, but like maybe have decent public housing that you can live in rent free. Like, I'm not talking like bunks in a warehouse sort of situation, like townhouses, just like a row of townhouses. That's the government housing. If you can't afford housing, you live there. And if you can afford housing, you can buy yourself a nicer house. I think that sort of a system could potentially work. Now, of course, there would have to be planning around this to make sure we don't end up with like ghettos where the poor people don't have all the stores in their area and the rich people do. I mean, that's already an issue. Like, I recognize that it's not as simple as just build some houses and let them go. I just described the projects. Yes, and now I'm describing why I am aware that is not inherently... Like, there's more that you need to take into consideration there than just the houses exist.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why, or like, if you've ever seen the channel Not Just Bikes, one of the things that he gets into a lot is that urban development as a concept has fucked over so many communities.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of weird things in America that we should not be doing when it comes to community development. One of them is we separate our commercial districts and our living districts super hard. We should not do that. They should be integrated so people can get up and walk to work. Like, that's a thing that they should be able to do. Zero Life King says, how do we avoid a project situation again? By making sure that you have adequate housing and adequate businesses in the exact same location. I'm talking at most a street apart.
Yeah, like my small town, it's about a 5-minute drive to the Walmart where and the Walmart is where all the other stores build up around, and there are no houses there. I mean, they are building a subdivision not too far away from there, but like, my kid wanted to ride his bike there today, but I said no because it's a busy road that people speed on. There are no houses there. There's no sidewalk there.
Oh, that's another thing, by the way. So there's it was just watching this video a couple days ago, again from Not Just Bikes. It was about the concept of streets versus roads and America's fascination with something called the Strode, and how vehicle deaths in the United States are higher than almost any other country, and it is almost a good chunk of it is to blame on our fascination with stroads. A street is something like you see in New York or in a city where there's a bunch of businesses and also residential areas all compacted into one area. It is a place that is meant to be there for people. A road, by comparison, is a highway, a thoroughfare, a
Yeah.
liminal space that gets you from one place to another. Whereas a strode is some weird bastard hybrid between the two. So if you've ever walked out of a neighborhood and there's a giant patch of grass and a bunch of road, and like you don't even have the concept of blocks anymore. So a quarter of a mile away, there's a gas station, and then another quarter of a mile away, there's maybe a store, and then another quarter of a mile away, there may be something, and there's 5 to 6 lanes of highway and a bunch of giant ass crosswalks. That's a strode. That is a road, effectively a highway, that is also trying to serve the purpose of a street. We get higher vehicle deaths there. They're more expensive to run for cities. They are impossible for people to walk easily because they typically don't have sidewalks. Like, we fucked so much shit up in urban planning. It's horrible.
Yeah. And like Toronto is by far not the best designed city in the world. But I actually I like Toronto compared to like where I live now. Like here's the thing, I don't want to live in a city. I like having space between me and my neighbors. But like putting that aside, anytime I've spent like a weekend in Toronto, it is so nice to be able to like, oh, I park my car in the hotel parking garage thing, and then I just walk everywhere. And if it's too far to walk, I just hop on a streetcar. And it's great. Like I get so much more exercise and fresh air when I'm in a city with much lower air quality than where I live here. Than I do here, because like here, if I want to go anywhere, I have to hop in the car.
Yeah, and that's
Or
kind
like,
of an issue.
or like, I mean, I guess I could ride my bike, but it's like, if I'm in the middle of, if I'm in the middle of a work day and it's like, oh shoot, I need this thing from the store, I could ride my bike there and lose an hour, or I could hop in my car. Whereas in Toronto, it'd be like, okay, I'll just take the elevator down and walk down the block to where the store is that sells that thing.
When I was in Boston and when I was in New York, so I didn't get to stay in New York for very long, the times that I've been in New York City, but I did get to stay in Boston for a time because I was at a convention there. And my favorite part of being in Boston, as expensive as it was, and it was expensive, and that was not the fun part, but the fun part for me was going, oh, we all want to get burritos. Let's leave the hotel and walk to the burrito place.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get snacks and we need to get drinks. Let's walk out of the hotel and walk to the grocery store and then bring everything back. Like everything was within distance of both hotels and residential zones. And that's fantastic.
What I love the most about it though is like all of the little restaurants that are not just some fast food chain. So like you walk out of the hotel
places.
and it's like no plan, don't know what I want for lunch. I'm just going to start walking, and the first restaurant I see that tickles my fancy, I'll walk in there.
That's what so when we were in Philadelphia, that's what we did. We were in downtown Philly. The place we were in was like right next to Philadelphia's Chinatown. And so I just left and got authentic traditional Chinese food, not American fast food slop, which I still like. I like American fast food Chinese slop, but getting actual traditional Chinese dishes from people who immigrated here from another country or are children of immigrants and were taught how to make all these dishes the way that their parents learned how to make them back home.
Here's the thing. Immigrants have the best
better.
food. Immigrants have the best food. You get rid of the immigrants in your country and you're just, it's nothing but burgers and fries.
What's that one skit where the dude is being super like racist to a Mexican, and then the Mexican just like hands it and just goes, "Here, try this. What's this? It's a taco. Oh, this is fantastic. You guys make these? Oh, we need to keep you here.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was a pretty quick news item, but again, Trump is denying funding, FEMA funding to Republican governors in Republican states because he's a fucking idiot.
He is, which is, fantastic for all of us.